Do you need a website to sell pet portraits? Hi, I'm Sema Martin. I'm a pet portrait artist and have been for the last 10 years, and I'm doing these daily vlogs to help you sell more pet portrait art. So, in terms of a website, the short answer is no. You don't actually need a website to sell pet portraits if you have two things. So firstly, the purpose normally of a website is to show off your portfolio. So to show what you're capable of doing, the kinds of artwork that you're trying to attract, and things you enjoy drawing or painting, whichever it is. So the point of a website is to show your portfolio. If you don't have a website and you don't want to pay for a website, you can do this by using social media. So things like Instagram and Facebook can also act as a portfolio just by posting all of your artwork online. Another purpose of a website is to be contactable. It's a good way of people to find you and contact you. You also don't need a website if you have this information elsewhere. So say you're not even on social media and you've put up flyers in your local cafe, you've given out business cards, you want to make sure you've got some sort of contactable information on there, like your email address or telephone number, if you don't have a website. If you do have a website, then you can add that on there instead. But I would suggest having a email address and a phone number. So when people contact you, you can then attach images of your work. So again, you don't necessarily need a portfolio to send them to. You can just send them your portfolio. So if someone contacts you via email, they've seen a flyer, they're like, oh, I loved your flyer on dog portraits. I've got a German Shepherd, I would love to commission you. You can then send them either examples of German Shepherds that you've drawn so they can see the quality, the kind of thing that you've got that you can do for them. Or you can send them examples of sizes, like these are my sizes, small, medium, large. Here are some examples. So you can sort of give your portfolio during the conversation and interaction. So you don't actually need a website to sell pet portraits. For me personally, I didn't actually have a website until I was about, I'd say 3 months into selling pet portraits. So I first started selling just on Facebook. I posted on Facebook groups. I posted on my own Facebook page. And that is how I got commissions. People would message me or comment asking for me to message them. We would chat. I would send examples. They would pay. And that's sort of how it went. I then got a website. I used a Wix website. So when it comes to my business, I like to bootstrap it. And bootstrap really is you just pay for what you need and you pay for what you can at the time. So Wix provide like free, the ability to do a free website. It still has watermarks, etc. like that. But it allows you to do like a free website without paying anything, not even like a free trial. It's just free. So that's what I did initially. I had a free website. I had my artwork on there. It was just 2 pages. The first page was my portfolio and the second page was a contact me page. Very, very simple website, completely free. And that gave me the ability to sort of look more professional as well now that I was taking on more clients. But at the same time, it also allowed me to display my portfolio elsewhere and allow people to contact me through my website. If, say, they see me on Facebook, then they think, oh, I would like to see more of her portfolio. They click on my website, they look through my portfolio, and then they use my contact page to then contact me. So a lot of the people at the beginning would contact me through my website, having found me on social media. So that was a really good way for me to get clients in the beginning. Then as my business grew and I was getting more sales, I then started paying. So I decided to move to Squarespace. I tried out WordPress for a little bit, but I didn't really fit with WordPress. I find WordPress a little bit too hard to use. I'm no coder or editor in that way, a web designer. I need something that's super easy. I can upload a picture, drag and drop, write what I need. Simple. So that's why I went with Squarespace, and I have been with Squarespace for about 10 years now. I also use Squarespace for my new website, Learn My Craft. So I've got a Squarespace website, and then with it you can gradually increase, your payments in terms of what you need from it. So Squarespace do a great thing of where you can, this is not sponsored at all, by the way, I'm just talking about my experiences. So Squarespace now allows you to do emails, so you can do emails through Squarespace. You don't need like an email add-on anymore. And you can also do other things like membership platforms and courses and stuff like that through Squarespace too. But purely from a pet portrait business perspective, I use Squarespace for my website, to host my website, and to send emails to newsletter subscribers and commissioned clients. So that's why I use Squarespace, and I have been for the last 10 years. I basically pay about £20 a month, and it's not very much at all in the grand scheme of things. You don't need to pay very much to have a good website. It's all there for you as well, like really nicely designed. So now that my website is a lot more further ahead in terms of I have a lot more to say. I have an about me page. I have like a commission page that takes people through the general step-by-step process of commissioning me as an artist, as well as still having the contact page, which is very important, and my portfolio, which is very important. So I still have the two main things, portfolio and contact, but I've added a few more things along the side as, my business has grown and I've done more things with it. So I guess short answer is no, you don't need a website to start taking sales, taking commissions, drawing people's pets, but it's something that you can slowly grow into over time as you become more popular, as you want to invest more money and time into your business if you're trying to grow it a little bit bigger than just speaking to people and drawing their pets. Also, a website is a great way to get people to find you. So the thing with social media is that you're putting yourself out there to be found. A website is searchable on like Google or Yahoo or anything like that somebody's using. They would type in pet portrait artist in Pembrokeshire, say, and I would hopefully come up because I am a pet portrait artist in Pembrokeshire. So you become searchable rather than the other way around. So that's also the benefit of a website, is that you can slowly over time put in less work, I suppose. You don't have to do daily posts in order to be seen. You just have to have good SEO on your website. And SEO is short for search engine optimization. And all that really means is that you've got specific words that you use on your website to be found by anybody using Google or some sort of search engine to find you. So for instance, I like to use locations as a good keyword. So I've put things like Pembrokeshire, UK. I also use locations of where my customers are from. So anyone in, say, New Zealand searching for pet portrait artists, I've got a whole blog post talking about how I've created artwork for people in New Zealand. Also things like breeds. Breeds are a great keyword. So specifically talk about what breeds you've drawn. So say this is Shelley the German Shepherd, rather than just saying my portrait of Shelley, say Shelley the German Shepherd. So now that becomes a little bit longer, more understandable, and anybody searching for German Shepherd portraits, your portrait would come up as one of the searches. So it takes a little time to understand how keywords, long chain keywords, short chain keywords, SEO works, but once you've learned it, it's so much easier to be found and is so much more less work than trying to be found on social media or trying to be discovered on social media. So there are pros and cons to both. And I would suggest starting with a free website first. If you don't have the money to pay for a website, that's fine. You don't need the money to pay for a website. But if you do, I would go with a simple website like Wix or Squarespace that are very easy to manipulate, to design. They have lots of drag and drop features. I wouldn't go with something like WordPress if you don't have any design skills, like web design coding skills, because it is a lot harder to understand. And if you do have struggle with designing and you want to pay for someone to design your website, again, I would be very wary of who you're paying to design your website, because I feel like they can take a lot of money from you, and it's totally unnecessary nowadays because of platforms like Squarespace and like Wix that allow you to literally upload a picture, drag it onto the screen, and add a text box. Like, it's very simple. That's all you need to do. You don't need anything to look super fancy or different. It just needs to be clean and clear. White background, maybe white another color. If you're doing purple as your brand color, you can add bits of purple. But having a mostly white website with clear text so people can read it, it's legible, that's all you really need if you're doing a website. So I hope that helps you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas on other ways to show off a portfolio. And if you need more help to sell your pet portraits, then click the link and download the prospectus for the Business of Pet Portraits course. And I will see you next time.